What is up, everybody? It's No Chill MMA, and this is UFC 323 predictions, breakdown, and card builder. Now, the main event is already known because the guy that wants to turn around in December, he wants the headline. That is, of course, the great Alexander Volkanovski. Now, who is going to battle the great? I mean, Volkanovski. Title defense against, or winning the title again from Lopez was highly impressive. I'm really worried about that 1-2 overhand step back that he keeps getting caught with, like Lopez caught him when he stepped back. I'm worried about the wrestling in the guy that I paired him up against, and no, it's not Masvidal Evloev. He's hurt, and it's not the winner of Silva versus Lopez, because I don't feel like, okay, let's just say Silva and Lopez are not going to just like obliterate each other in 10 seconds. That's going to be an absolute war. It's going to be a scrap. You're going to have a war like that, and you're going to turn around in 2 weeks, 2-week training camp, as you're injured and hurt to fight Volkanovski. I don't think so. That's setting yourself up for failure. There's one man, and that man is Yair. Nah, it's obviously Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy just got spinning back elbow. I mean, knockout of the year contender. After a knockout of the year contender, this guy, man, he solidified his name. So that was his signature win. Like, that's going to be on highlights forever. Terry Edom and Barboza, you're going to see that forever on UFC promotions. You're going to see those spinning back elbows, especially Leron's. His was significantly just devastating. This is a great fight. Now, this is scary for Volkanovski. A little bit scary for Volkanovski because Lerone has good enough wrestling defense to get back up from when Pico takes him down. He also really counters blitzes so well, and that's kind of what Volkanovski has his game his game plan is, his jab, his takedown when he needs it, and his blitz. Lerone Murphy counters blitzes, and if you're gonna shoot a slow takedown, which I don't know, the speed of an old ass Volkanovski, he's gonna catch you with the knee or an elbow. He did that multiple times to Aaron Pico when he came in. Next up is going to be a women's strawweight title defense. Now, this isn't the strongest co-main event. I tried to help this pay-per-view out as much as I could. I mean, it's a good card. It's a fantastic card, don't get me wrong. It just doesn't really hold the same magnitude as the other ones. Weili Zhang, she is phenomenal, man. If there's one woman you could always count on to get fight of the night, it's Weili Zhang. But if there's one weakness that she might have, it might be the strength of her opponent. It's not Valentina Shevchenko. I'm not doing that. It's Virna Jandiroba. And look, man. Look, she's looking left, she's looking right at the same time. It's interesting. Zhang and Jandiroba 5-round strawweight championship fight. This goes one of two ways. Either Zelly, she beats Virna Jandiroba, she stops the takedown, she blitzes her on the feet, just mauls her with her superior striking, or Jandiroba backpack. She kind of fights like a female version of Aljo, and I don't really want that. I don't want Zhang to be dethroned. It has to happen eventually, and you can't deny Jandiroba anymore, man. She's beaten like 8 in a row or 7 in a row, and at women's strawweight, that is like unheard of. You gotta give her the shot. Now, we're not gonna do a lightweight fight, like one of those big lightweight fights. So what other names do we really have left? And it's gonna be a welterweight feature fight. I don't know about 5 rounds. I might just want this one for 3. But if the fights themselves, and Volkanovski Lerone, that's a hot matchup. Jandiroba versus Zhang, probably not. But we need this presser to be good, and we need all these fights to be really good. So Belal Muhammed, okay, maybe not synonymous with good fights. However, he's going to be fighting somebody who's going to be able to neutralize his wrestling, is going to play out on the feet. I'm, of course, talking about his rival, and they're going to talk a lot of shit, man, especially Belal. And I'm not the biggest Kamaru Usman fan. Like, I'm not a fan, like, when I am a fan of somebody, it's not like, oh, I am a fan of you or I'm not. It's like, I'm this much of a fan of you. I'm not that much a fan of Kamaru Usman, but I'm definitely not a Belal fan. I think Kamaru Usman can win over a lot of people, beating Belal Muhammad, especially like knocking him out. That would just be fantastic. Usman looked really good. I mean, now that Hazmat destroyed Dricus du Plessis, Usman's stock kind of went up. The Buckley fight he won, he's like 2 away from a title shot. I say the winner of this fight, Shavkat, for the next title shot after the winner of Brady versus Gary. And I would love that. Usman and Belal, that is an absolute I mean, it's a heated ass fight. We don't get those rivalry fights anymore, and I like it. I don't really dislike that fight. I think it's a great feature fight, but 30 some, like all these fighters are like 35, man. Lerone's 34, 35, Volk is 36. These guys are in their mid 30s, late 30s. We need some young talent, to fill up some of this card. We need some prospects. And we kind of do want to do that Australia theme, bring in some Australian guys, but there's just not enough to fill the whole pay-per-view anymore. Rob Font ain't that young guy that we talking about. But this is going to be a really fun fight. So we're bringing in one of the best literally one of the best prospects at bantamweight. This guy is just so incredible. I mean, he is delightful. He might not even be, yeah, he is a bantamweight. It is like this guy and probably nobody else right now as the best bantamweight prospect. I'm of course talking about, are you ready for this? Vinicius Olivera versus Rob Font. God damn, that is a fight. That is a stand-up fight if I've ever seen one. My God, I love this one. I just love this one so much. Font's orthodox boxing. Vinicius Olivera just wings crazy shit sometimes. Dude, this would be an absolute scrap, and I would pick Vinicius Olivera by KO. What's opening this card up? No, really, what is? I kind of forgot. Oh! I wanted to save this for a fight night. I was thinking this could be a fight night, but I'm like, you know what? If the fights themselves aren't going to be like, oh, the most giant fights in the world, which they're still fucking amazing. Usman, Belal, Volk versus Lerone, Virna versus, Lockdog versus Font. We're gonna go all in on making this card an epic, okay? Manel Kape, all of your teammate is a fucking gonna be taking on his rival, France. And my God, man, France didn't take a lot of damage in the Pantoja fight. He did get finished, but it wasn't like Pantoja just took him down, obliterated him with his ground game. France and Manel Kape, this fight had me, I've been biting at this fight for over a year and a half now. This fight has so much build-up. You gotta pull the trigger somewhere and sometime and let it be this year. And if Kape wins, give him that title shot. I don't know if Kape is going to win. He tends to kind of crumble under pressure. But Kape and France are both going to be fighting their best against each other. You're going to have that trash talk. You're going to have the Usman Belal trash talk. Volkanovski and Murphy. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Murphy will talk too. Murphy isn't known to shy away too much. He called out Volkanovski. Who knows if he has something in store psychologically. I don't know, man. Jandiroba. But yeah, this card is fantastic. That's a great main card. I don't know if it's gonna sell the most, but it would be a fantastic watch. We want some Australian guys on these prelims, but before we get to the Australian guys, we really want to sell you on this. So we're gonna give you another ranked fight, a ranked featherweight fight between two absolute sluggers. I'm talking about the concussive. I don't even know what he is. Not a gremlin. Goblin? Ghoul? Josh Emmett, man. He took Bryce Mitchell's soul. And he survived, and he did pretty well against Lerone Murphy, to be honest. He did pretty good against Lerone. This guy just doesn't get finished. Murphy couldn't finish him. Ilya couldn't finish him. The dude just survives, and he hits so damn hard. And I want to give him... I think he's coming into his best right now. I want to give him somebody who's a little bit sloppy, a little bit wild, and there's a chance that he catches his chin, but he's also momentous enough to give Emmet this fight. I'm talking about David Onama. After his win over Giga Chikadze, he's looking for a breakout into the top 10. None would be better than UFC closing out the 323 prelims against Josh Emmett. If you could beat Josh Emmett, man, you put yourself into an elite list. Because recent years, it's like Murphy, Ilya, and then it's like, really, that's all the guys. Yair. But you need something. You can't just strike with Josh Emmett if you're going to win. Unless you're magically elite, like the Miracle or like Ilya. Can Onama put himself with those names? Probably not. I think Onama would get knocked out, and that's also kind of why I want to see that fight, because I think it would be stylistically favorable towards Emmet, and I want Emmet around a little bit longer, but that would just be insane. It would be a great fight no matter what. Emmet versus Onama. Now we get to the Australians, because I am putting Jake Matthews, the Celtic kid, even though he's more like the Azerbaijani kid now, Jake Muhammed Matthews. I think he changed his name to I don't know. But Jake Matthews, look man, he just won't go away. He's really sticking on to the UFC roster. Just won't go away. But he hasn't really taken on anybody that's like a hot new young prospect. But the Australian is going to have his hands full with 2-0 in the UFC and undefeated overall. Jacobe Smith. Bro, I hyped up Jacobe Smith as one of the top prospects in America 2 years ago. And I know you're like, oh, 2 years. Yeah, but like 2 years is like almost his entire career. I've been on the Jacobe Smith hype train for a long time. And he had a really interesting fight against Nico Price. His first UFC fight, he looked incredible. This fight is a way bigger test than Nico Price, but it's a deserved test because when you obliterate guys like that, and he's not like super young, I just want to see him in there with somebody big. I know that Matthews is gritty as hell, but Jacobe Smith does have that one-shot knockout power, and we could see back-to-back finishes with Smith and Emmet, you know, right there. And I really like Jacobe Smith, man. This is a Vegas card. Hopefully he can make a big name for himself. I like Smith versus Matthews. Now, third on these prelims, we have another knockout Dragon Brawl. If we can't sell you on the trash talk, we're going to sell you on the power and the knockout ability of these fighters. We got Cesar Almeida. I mean, glory kickboxer, fought Ferreira. Dude is a monster. But we're going to put him in there against a hero. And that hero is the Hulk. Bruno Ferreira versus Cesar Almeida, middleweight fight. My thought process for this was just like, honestly, we just need to fill this slot out with something good because there's not enough Australians that I would justify putting on pay-per-view prelims. It's a really good fight, man. Cesar Almeida and Bruno Ferreira, two Brazilian absolute knockout machines. Abdul Razak Hassan, Jackson McVeigh, both got finished in the first round by these two monsters. Look, I don't know. I would probably go with Cesar Almeida to win this one. But Bruno Ferreira has been like showing more of a grappling threat recently, so that would have me thinking maybe he could submit Almeida. Either way, this would be a really fun fight, and these prelims are absolutely stacked. Absolutely stacked. The Volk, Murphy, Zhang, Jandiroba, like main and co-main don't have a ton of name value, so we put a lot of name value, potential, and excitement elsewhere on this card. Just like with this first prelim, opening up with an absolutely interesting fight and a fight that could really help the career of both of these guys and a very exciting lightweight fight. I was going to put this on the early prelims, but I was like, you know what? Let's get Australia on the prelims. Let's get them as much publicity as possible. We got Quinlan Salkilld. Now, Quinlan Salkilld beat Enshog Jubilee. Beat Yanal Ashmuz. Okay, but now it's time for him to go up against the greatest YN in the UFC. I'm, of course, talking about Terrance McKinney. Holy shit. This would be an exciting fucking fight. McKinney would try to take his fucking head off. But obviously T-Rex is fucking T-Reckless, and he leaves his chin out there. McAuliffe might be able to catch him. I think somebody in that fight's getting caught. That's a really good fight, man. I really like that one. I really do like that one. Both guys could use a big jump up after this one, and, you know, putting their momentum against each other would be huge, especially for McKinney. Salkilld, too. Salkilld would look like a legitimate contender if he could just, like, floor McKinney on the pay-per-view prelims. Fantastic card. What's the featured early prelim? I believe it is Kong Wang, right? Yeah, Kong Wang. So, the reason that we're doing this is because Kong Wang exists, and we can't ignore the women's divisions. So, I'm not going to give her too much of like a step up. In fact, I'm giving her probably a step down. But ranked right below her is somebody I think she could probably get another highlight reel knockout on. I'm going to do Kong Wang, JJ Aldrich. I think Kong Wang would absolutely brutalize her. And that is my thought process for putting that early prelim on. I think Kong Wang would win. Volkanovski, Murphy, Zhang. Okay, yeah, my picks. Volkanovski, Wheili, Zhang, Usman, Vinicius, Manel, Kape, Emmet, Jacobe Smith, Almeida, Salkilld, Kong Wang would be my picks. Damn, I really like this card because you probably have some like bad fights in the early prelims. You open up with Salkilld, McKinney, you know, guaranteed entertainment. So's Almeida, Ferreira. So's Matthews. Well, Matthews Smith, Matthews might out grapple him, but Emmet, Onama, that is the fight. That is like, that's gonna leave you wanting more. So when that pay-per-view comes on and you see Kape and Kaikar France, Rob Font Vinicius, Belal versus Usman, and then you got the 2 title fights. That's an absolutely stacked UFC 323. I would love to close off the year with this, man. It'd be a really nice way to close off the year because you got some big names, you got some new contenders, you got guys that'll turn around early 2026 and try to make a name for themselves. Like Jacobe Smith, Onama, McKinney, Vinicius, all could have giant 2026s, and it could all start here. I guess Wang Kong too. And I don't know, man, Volkanovski and Murphy, you're going to have to really look at that fight because Murphy has a good shot at beating Volk. Like, I'm like 51-49 right now on Volkanovski just being able to use his grappling threat to pressure and outpace Murphy. But he is old, man. And if Volk wins, dude, you got to start looking at him different as like a featherweight champion who is the featherweight GOAT. Like, he's got to be in that top 5. He's got to be in the GOAT conversation. I know he ain't the GOAT. He don't got a case for it, but he's got to be in that like top 10 conversation. I put him above Adesanya already. You know, there's not a lot of people with better resumes than Volk, and if you could finish Murphy, man, that just puts an exclamation point on it. I love this card. Let me know what you think down below. This has been No Chill MMA. I will see you guys next time. See you guys tomorrow.